lead us from the unreal to the real, lead us from darkness unto light, lead us from death to immortality. Om, peace, peace, peace. Namaste and good evening, everybody. Pranams to revered Swami Satyadevanji Maharaj, other senior monks who are here. And namaskars to everybody else present here. So this is the second evening of these talks, of these three talks on Advaita. Today also happens to be Shankara Jayanti. Yes, it's very auspicious and a very nice coincidence that today we are discussing Advaita Vedanta on Shankara Jayanti. And the text that we have selected, one of my favorite texts, is the Ashtavakra Geetha. Now this Ashtavakra Geetha, there is a uniqueness about this text. Advaita Vedanta, the root texts are the Upanishads. Bhagavad Gita, the Brahma Sutra, and a variety of other texts called Prakarana Granthas, introductory texts. So the Upanishads are basically what we call Shravana Pradhana. Primarily they are meant for instructions for hearing. There are other texts which are what we might call Manana Pradhana. Texts like Khandana Khandakadya, Chit Sukhi, Advaita Siddhi, full of subtle argumentation, reasoning. So the difference would be the Shravana Pradhana texts, they give us the teaching. The essence of the teaching of Advaita Vedanta is given by these texts with Upanishad and other texts like the Bhagavad Gita and Prakarana Granthas. Once we hear these texts, then we have got some questions, some doubts come to our mind. And these questions are dealt with in great depth in the Manana Pradhana texts. So various kinds of doubts come to our mind and answers, Purva Paksha, the opposing points of view are taken up, reasoned out in great depth with a lot of intensity. The books like Advaita Siddhi, Chit Sukhi, Khandana Khandakadya and others, so they are Manana Pradhana. In fact, in many of the texts, the Prakarana Granthas, the introductory texts, you will find in some sections, there's a lot of argumentation, a lot of reasoning, involved reasoning. And then there are texts which one would say is Nididhyasana Pradhana. Nididhyasana Pradhana means once we have got the teaching, once we have reasoned it out, and then you have a clarity, a certain clarity, certain insight comes. And to stay with that insight, to immerse ourselves in that insight, into Advaita, or the Advaitic insight, that is Nididhyasana, staying with it. There are texts which help us to do that. And Ashtavakra Geetha is preeminently one of those texts. There are others also, Avadhuta Geetha and others. So Ashtavakra is very unique that way. Sri Ramakrishna, in fact, is a book that he recommended to Swami Vivekananda. And Swami Vivekananda was at first not very appreciative of the text. He said that, what craziness is this? You know, the pot is also God, the table is also God, the door is also God, the window is also God. Were the rishis, the ones who gave these teachings, were they crazy? And Sri Ramakrishna, he said, why are you abusing the rishis? And he just touched Swami Vivekananda and Narendranath Datta at that time. And he had this experience of this oneness, this one consciousness everywhere. Now, that is the best way of understanding or realizing Advaita Vedanta. If you have someone like Sri Ramakrishna who touches you and suddenly you see. But the next best level is to, experience a text like the Ashtavakra Geetha, where this truth is given to us with such power, such clarity. The Ashtavakra Geetha itself, the language is very simple, very direct Sanskrit. There are no arguments there. There is no subtle argumentation there. Rather, the same truth is repeated again and again, in what might just be called a grand monotony. That you are Brahman. This one thing is told to us again and again and again. One of the translators, whom I like a lot, Thomas Byrom, he was a disciple of a 20th century sadhu, not Neem Karoli Baba. He was a disciple of Hanumanji. I forget. Not Neem Karoli Baba. Anyway, this Thomas Byron, he said that my guru is to tell me that Ashtavakra is the purest of the scriptures. My guru is to tell me that. And Swami Vivekananda himself has said that spirituality is alive because of texts like this, like the Ashtavakra Geetha. So Thomas Byram, in his introduction to his translation, the translation it's a very beautiful, poetic translation. It's called The Heart of Awareness, the Heart of Awareness. In that introduction, he says that when all the scriptures have finished saying what they want to say, when all the philosophers and sages have spoken and fallen silent, Ashtavakra begins. And what words they are. It's like the words of light, luminosity. They appear on the pages and they seem to disappear immediately after they are, when they appear, back into the light from which they came. So very poetically he describes the Ashtavakra Geetha. Anyway, enough advertisement. There's a danger to such texts. There's a danger. I remember I was in Gangotri at one time, and there was this, in the nearby hut, there was this other gentleman who was reading the Ashtavakra Geetha. And I got talking with him. It's a senior retired gentleman. He was staying in that hut and studying. Day and night he would study the Ashtavakra Geetha. And I would too. I also had taken that same text to Gangotri. And this gentleman said that, "Arey, isme to asli baat hai. This is the real teaching. My guru, why he did not tell me about this? My guru is spending his time in worshipping Tulsi plant and doing japa of Krishna mantra." I said, "Where did you get this book?" "From my guru." "Do you think he has read the book?" I said, "Yes." "And after that also is worshipping the Tulsi plant and repeating Krishna mantra?" I said, "Haan, wo to hai." So there is this danger in, one feels that, oh, this is the highest truth. What is the use of bhakti? What is the use of meditation? What is the use of ritualistic worship? So that is a misconception. That's the danger of texts like Ashtavakra, which give us the raw, unfiltered truth directly. But it needs to be supported by all other forms of sadhana. In the Ashtavakra, we get a dialogue between the sage Ashtavakra and his student, King Janaka. And powerful text. At the end of the first chapter, Janaka gets enlightenment. First chapter. And in the second chapter, Raja Janaka is talking about his enlightenment. What has he experienced, or what is he experiencing? So what I was thinking today is, in the time that we have, we'll talk about this non-dual realization which Janaka had. That's the subject for this evening. And Janaka himself talks about it. And after that we'll have our usual Q&A, a question-answer session. Janaka, in the second chapter of the Ashtavakra, he says, this is I think the 17th verse. It's a pretty big chapter where he talks about his realization. In the 17th verse, he says, Bodhamatraham ajnanad upadhi kalpito maya evam vimrishato nityam nirvikalpe sthitir mama. Very beautiful, sublime verse. He says, I am pure consciousness, bodhamatra, consciousness only, bodhamatra. Ajnanat, by ignorance, because of ignorance, upadhis have been imagined by me. Now what is this upadhi and what does it mean? We'll see later. Upadhis have been imagined by me. Limitations have been imagined by me. Contemplating thus, reflecting thus continuously, evam vimrishato nityam, nirvikalpe sthiti mama. My sthiti, my realization, my effortless abidance is in this nirvikalpa consciousness. One consciousness without any vikalpa. And he's reporting, this is what I'm experiencing right now. What we'll do is try to understand this, try to look into it. The claim of Advaita Vedanta is that what it talks about is already present here. See, there is one kind of spiritual realization which tells us, or spirituality which tells us that it's not here, it's there. Where is God? Where will you find God? God is in heaven. There's a poet who says, God's in heaven and all's right with the world. So where is God? Not here, there. So spirituality is not here, there. Spirituality is separated from us by space. That's one kind of one kind of understanding. So spirituality is a journey in space, from here to there. What is there? Heaven. From here to there. That's one kind. Another kind of spiritual journey might be a journey in time. Not now. You know, when you're driving along in the United States, sometimes you see big hoardings. It says, after death you will meet God. Little ominous. So after death you will meet God. And below it will be written 1800, call this number and you will... So that's one kind of spirituality. After death you will meet God. It's a spiritual journey in time. Abhi nahi, tab. After death. Or after some mystical experience. Or after the coming of the Messiah or something. After, not now. Time. Spirituality is a journey in time. In Advaita Vedanta, it's not a journey in space, it's not a journey in time. Advaita Vedanta wants to say what we are looking for is right here, is everywhere and it is here. Is every when, it is always there. And so it is now, here and now. That creates a peculiar problem. If I say God is in heaven, why don't I see God? Because you are not in heaven, you are here. When you go to heaven, you will see God. Then I am safe. जब आप जाओगे तब देखोगे आप. So till that time I am safe. Why don't I see God? Well, because God is available after death, not before death. And after death, of course, you can't catch me. So I am safe that way also. But if I say that the spiritual reality which we are looking for is available here and now, then you have every right to ask, if it is here and now, why don't I see it? Why don't I experience it? Why don't I feel it? If it's something available right now, right here. So Advaita Vedanta says that we don't, it's available right here, right now, but we don't see it, hear it, we don't experience it. We, quote unquote, we don't experience it. Actually, Advaita Vedanta wants to say we do experience it. We don't maybe recognize it or know what we are experiencing. So in Advaita Vedanta, the spiritual journey is from ignorance to knowledge. It's not a journey in space. It's not a journey in time. It's a journey from not knowing, not realizing, to knowing or realizing. From ignorance to knowledge. Therefore, just before I came here, a young man was asking me in the Mumbai ashrama, so this Advaita you're talking about, Atman, Brahman, it's all very nice. How will I get anubhava, experience of this Atman or Brahman? That's already presuming that I'm not having this experience. Advaita Vedanta wants to say that we already are that, and in fact, in one sense, we are experiencing it all the time. How? What is it that Advaita talks about? Janaka says, Bodha matro aham. I am consciousness only, awareness only. Let's look into that. This is crucial. I am awareness only. If I understand that, that's the key to understanding Advaita Vedanta. That's the key to enlightenment. Right now, whatever we are experiencing, whenever you are seeing something, you're looking at me and you're seeing, you are aware. Without awareness, you don't have that experience of seeing. Yesterday I was talking about, you go near a door with a sensor, or a tap, in an airport with a sensor. You put your hand there, you go near the door, it opens. Is it seeing? No. There is a mechanical process going on there, but the conscious first-person experience of seeing is not there. So if you're seeing something, we are all seeing. So you're seeing, that means you're aware. Whatever you see, the things that you see keep changing. You are seeing something outside the hall, now you're seeing something inside the hall. What you saw changed, but awareness did not change. That awareness is constant. It's the same awareness by which you hear. So my words, we are hearing these words, same awareness. Hearing words and seeing something, these are different experiences. But the awareness which makes it possible for us to see and to hear, same awareness. You say, Swami, are you stipulating that? Are you saying that this is how it should be? No, it is how it is. We just have to take a look at ourselves and see, yes, words is something auditory. Seeing is something visual. But both are happening to awareness. I'm aware, therefore I'm having these experiences. Smelling, tasting, touching. All sensory experiences are happening because of awareness. I am aware, therefore I can see, hear, smell, taste, touch. The Kena Upanishad, it begins with this question. Keneshitam patati preshitam mana, kena prana pratama prayiti yukta, keneshitam vacham imam vadanti, chakshu shrotram kaudeva yunakti. See, thousands and thousands of years ago, this most modern of questions is being asked. What is that bright being? Kaudeva, what that shining thing, that consciousness is described as a shining, luminous reality. What is that Deva, because of which, I am having this experience of thinking, mind is thinking, eyes are seeing, ears are hearing, words are being spoken, the experience of speaking. All of these experiences are happening because of which shining reality? The same thing, consciousness, awareness. So this awareness is what makes all our sensory experiences and our activities possible. And this awareness is continuous. It is the one awareness behind all different kinds of sensory activities, hearing, smelling, tasting, touching, thinking, speaking. And it continues. So when our whole waking state disappears and we are dreaming, we fall asleep and we dream, awareness continues. And we must see that. You see, waking state, here I am, we are listening, hopefully, waking state. You can never take things for granted, especially in a Vedanta lecture. And then we fall asleep, dream comes. Does awareness continue or not? It does continue. Otherwise, you wouldn't have the experience, the first-person experience of dreaming. It's not possible. And most amazingly enough, deep sleep, when dreams also stop, deep sleep, absolute blankness, there also awareness continues. How? Because every culture in the world, it talks about the experience of deep sleep. In English, we have the term, slept like a log. In Bengali, and I think here also in Mumbai, when it is very hot and humid, in Calcutta or in Mumbai, you have in Bengali they say, ghumiye kada, slept like mud. If you go to sleep in a hot afternoon and sweaty afternoon, you wake up feeling like mud. But the thing is, deep sleep must be an experience. Otherwise, how is it mentioned in every culture? How are there linguistic descriptions of deep sleep? And the Vedanta describes deep sleep as the experience of, I slept happily, I did not know anything. As we come out of deep sleep, we look back upon it and we formulate this, that was also an experience. I was awake, I fell asleep, I dreamt, and there were periods of no dream at all. And now I'm awake again. If deep sleep was not an experience, you know what would have happened? I would have had experience of waking, I would have experience of dreams, and then again of waking. I wouldn't even refer to something like a dreamless blankness. So deep sleep is not the absence of experience, it is the experience of absence. I remember there was this Sankhya philosopher, an American, Professor Larson. So it was in the Institute of Culture about a couple of decades back. There was a series of seminars on consciousness studies. So there were these neuroscientists and philosophers, and they really couldn't see eye to eye. And then this Professor Larson asked the neuroscientist, Doctor, in neuroscience, in deep sleep, is there consciousness or not? What is your point of view? And this was more than 2 decades ago. And the doctor said, in deep sleep there is no consciousness. That's our view. Deep sleep there is no consciousness. And this Professor Larson said, well, according to Sankhya, according to Advaita Vedanta, in deep sleep there is only consciousness. There's a difference. It's like light streaming from the sun, in deep space. It looks dark. It looks absolutely dark out there in space. But it's not dark, it's full of light. If a comet passes through it, you will see the tail of the comet blazing with light. Not that the comet carries its own light, it's not self-illumined. You need something to reflect that light. So the light streaming from the sun, between the sun and the earth, it seems dark. When a comet passes through it, or when a satellite passes overhead in the evening, you see it shining. With what light? Light of the sun. So, in deep sleep, consciousness alone, awareness alone is there. Or another way of looking at it is, awareness is there and it illumines the darkness of deep sleep. That is the blankness, where subject and object are sort of mushed into one, so to say. This awareness continues in waking, dreaming, deep sleep. We had a Swami who was in our center in South Africa, Swami Sarvapriyanda. So he used to explain these things with very nice stories. So he said that, what it is like in the station here, in the railway station in Mumbai, I think it's called the Chhatrapati Shivaji terminus. So at that time I think it was called the Victoria terminus or something like that, yes. So he says that, see, there's a station master sitting there. On platform number 1, a big train is coming, say something like, at that time, Rajdhani Express was the elite train, a very famous train. It's coming in, and there's full of activity. People are getting down, people are getting on the train, and the station master is watching. After some time, that express, Rajdhani Express, goes away. Station master did not come in with the train, station master did not leave with the train, station master is watching. After some time, goods train, Malgadi, goods train comes into the station. Not so many people get in, nobody, maybe the train driver gets down for a cup of tea and then gets back on the engine, and then it moves away. It's sort of hazy and not much activity. Station master is watching. He does not come with the train, does not go away with the train. And then next, the platform is empty. No train is coming. Station master is still there. He has not gone away. Even the empty platform is watching. Now what is this, what is this demonstrating? So the Swami says that the Rajdhani Express is the waking state. You are there, the station master, you awareness, it comes in with all its activity, responsibilities, problems, prospects. When you wake up in the morning, so many things to be done, so many problems to be faced. In industrial grade reality, it chugs into the station, and then it goes away. You fall asleep, maybe in the afternoon or at night. And the goods train is like the dream state. It comes in, it's a little vague, little smoky, and not much activity. And then that also goes away. And then deep sleep is like empty platform. No content is there. Station master, who is the station master? You, the consciousness, the awareness. You are watching. So this is a very nice example to illustrate the Mandukya Upanishad. The waking state comes and goes, the dream state comes and goes, the deep sleep state comes and goes. The fourth, this awareness which is watching all of this. See, our common sense idea of this is, I am this person, the waker, this is reality. Sometimes I fall asleep and I, the waker, forget my nature and I am the person who's dreaming in that dream. Then that is also extinguished and deep sleep. Then I come back, I am the waker, this is my reality. This is how we normally look at it. The Mandukya Upanishad says that no, waker and the waking state, that's one pair. Dreamer and the dream state, that's the second pair. And deep sleeper and the deep sleep state, that's the third pair. All these three pairs, they come and go in one light, which is awareness alone. In that one awareness. This awareness continues. Different states come and go, it continues. Our emotions, happy, unhappy, elated, depressed, same awareness. Awareness is not happy, or awareness does not get depressed. Awareness does not get elated. Awareness does not get, it does not sink into depression. All the emotional states come and go, awareness is constant. So in all our perceptions, one awareness. In all our emotions, one awareness. In waking, dreaming, deep sleep, one awareness. And if there is nothing to be aware of, awareness continues. Like in deep sleep, like in samadhi, like in coma, one awareness continues. Janaka says, that awareness I am, bodha matra aham. What have I realized? I am that one unchanging, undying, immortal awareness. Bodha matra aham. Now, if we reflect a little bit on this, he says in the second line, Janaka says, Evam vimrishatam nityam. As I constantly reflect upon the fact that I am this one awareness. If you reflect upon it, this one awareness, does it grow old? Does it grow sick? Does it die? No. Awareness does not grow old or sick, or nor does it die. It's constant and unchanging. That's something that can happen to the body. Does this awareness become depressed, unhappy? That's something that's happening to the mind. Awareness is free of the problems of the body. It's free of the problems of the mind. Awareness, does it need anything? Does it have desires? No. Desires are of the mind. Awareness, is it afraid of anything? No. Fear is in the mind. Awareness, does it hate anything? Does it cling to anything? That's an interesting thing. Is awareness attached to anything? Many people come and say, Swami, you are monks, but we are very attached. You are not. Awareness is not attached to anything at all. This is one example. The greatest example of attachment is a mother with her child. Say a baby, a newborn baby. Tremendous attachment, it seems to be. But at night when the mother falls asleep, forgets the world, forgets the baby, forgets her own body, and goes happily into sleep. Not attached. Even the greatest thing which we think we are, the greatest of, most intense of attachments, awareness is not attached to anything. So awareness is not attached. I sometimes say it's Teflon coated. So nothing sticks, non-stick awareness. We think we are sticking with the world. We think so. In our foolishness, we think we are catching hold of the world. One sadhu told us a very nice story in the Himalayas. He's there. He was a traditional monk. In his old age, he had become a monk. He was married, he had children. Then in his old age, he became a monk. He was in the Himalayas. One day he was sitting in a village where he had gone to beg for food. And little morosely he was sitting there. And he said one elderly lady came by. Itna dukhi kyun Mahatma ji? Why are you so sad? And he said that, I have some, I don't feel that I have really been able to renounce this world. And this elderly lady said, Kahan chipak gaye? Where are you attached to? I said, children. And he said, no, my children have grown up and gone away. That's good. Money? He said, wo sab de diya, dusron mein baant diya. Your wife? He said, no, she died. Then to kahan chipke ho aap? You are not attached, you are not sticking to anything at all. Everything goes away. We think we are holding on to things. So things don't hold on to us. So this awareness is nothing sticks to this awareness. Nothing sticks to it. It's like light. Light illumines what comes on this stage. So before this, the stage was empty. Light was illumining an empty stage. Then an announcer came. Light illumined the announcer. Then the announcer went away. I came. The light is illumining this. After some time I will go away. Again the empty stage will be illuminated with light. Nothing sticks to that light. It comes and goes. Awareness is like that. Bodha matra aham. So evam vimrishatam nityam. Janaka says, as I reflect on this, I begin to see as bodha, as awareness only, I have no problems at all. I have no problems. I do not have the fear of death. I do not have desire. I do not have frustration. I do not have fear. I do not have depression. All the physical, mental issues one might have, they do not belong to awareness. Awareness reveals all of that, illumines all of that, but awareness itself does not have these problems. Bodha matra aham. All right, next component. Let's go a little further. I am awareness only. Very good. But then we might have a question. What is all this that I see? I'm not just awareness only, Swami. I am also mind. I'm also body. You might say I'm awareness. I agree. I am body, mind, and awareness. So I am not just the awareness. I am body, mind, and awareness. And body has problems. Mind has problems. So how can you say that I don't have problems? And then Janaka says, Ajnanad upadhi kalpito maya. By ignorance, I have conjured up these upadhis. What is an upadhi? Upadhi is the classic example that's given in Vedanta is, suppose you take a colorless crystal, a completely transparent crystal, and then we put the classic example is a red flower. You put a red flower behind it. If you have colorless crystal here, you put a red flower behind it, from that side the crystal will look red. Put a yellow flower behind it, from that side the crystal will look yellow. Here's a good example. So you have this yellow, and you take the water, from that side you will see it begins to look yellow. In fact, yeah, I can see that. It begins to look, this color comes in the crystal or in something transparent. Now the crystal itself does not become red even if it looks red. The red flower, when it comes near the crystal, it seems to transfer its red color to the crystal. But the crystal doesn't become red. Even when the red flower was not there, the crystal was not red. Even when the red flower is there, the crystal is not red. Even when you remove the red flower, the crystal is still not red. Never became red. So the definition of an upadhi is, upa means in Sanskrit near. Upa samipe, near. Samipe stitva swiyan gunan adhatte. One's own qualities, it seems to transfer onto the other. So the pure crystal, like a crystal, transparent, and you bring this color, maybe this orange cloth. This orange cloth seems to transfer its orange color to that crystal. So this orange cloth would be called an upadhi for that crystal. What does that mean? Awareness, bodha matra. But then body is there, mind is there. This body and mind are upadhis. What does this do? it seems to transfer its own qualities to awareness. So the body appears and appears to awareness, and we say immediately that, oh, I am a man or a woman, I am overweight or skinny. Is consciousness, awareness, can it ever be overweight? Can awareness be skinny, underweight? No. Is awareness a man? No. Is awareness a woman? No. Those are the qualities of the body, and they seem to be transferred to awareness. So this is the activity of an upadhi. It seems to transfer its own qualities unto you, the awareness. Happiness, the quality of the mind, it's a feature of the mind. It's transferred to awareness. I am happy. Depression, it's a feature of the mind. It seems to be transferred to awareness. I am unhappy. I am depressed. Happiness and depression are in the mind. Man, woman, old, young, overweight, underweight are in the body. But they seem to transfer their qualities to you, the awareness. And then we get mixed up. See, one of the best pieces of advice in Advaita Vedanta was given by a monk who said, he put it this way, Jo jahan ka hai Mahatma ji, usko wahin rehne do. So whatever belongs to wherever, let it remain in its own place. That is Advaita Vedanta. That's it. Old age, disease, death belongs to body. Let it be in the body, not in awareness. And it's a fact. Like the red color of the flower, it seems to appear in the crystal. Similarly, old age, disease, death, which are properties of the body, they appear in awareness. But just as the crystal is never red, even when the red color appears, never yellow when the yellow color appears, similarly, awareness is never old or young or diseased or dying, even when this experience of being old, young, diseased, dying, when it appears, even then awareness is not old or young or diseased or dying. Happiness, misery, these are the properties of the mind. Even when they appear in awareness, it's not that the awareness itself is happy or the awareness itself is miserable. This is because of the presence of the upadhi. I have sometimes told this story about this man who went to a monk in the Himalayas, and he said to this monk, Mahatma ji, main bahut dukhi hu. I am very unhappy. And that monk asked him, Aap apne dukh ko anubhav karte hain? Do you feel your misery? He said, of course. I feel my misery. I am, that's why I am miserable. And the monk replied, if you feel your misery, then you cannot be miserable. आपका दुख का अनुभव है, तो आप दुखी नहीं हो सकते हैं. What do you mean? See, whatever you experience is an object of awareness. It is not awareness itself. So if I am experiencing the misery, then it's an object of, to me, the awareness. I am not miserable. What is happening there is the misery in the mind, the unhappiness in the mind, because the mind functions as an upadhi, the unhappiness in the mind is being transferred to awareness. And awareness, then one gets mixed up and says, I am unhappy. But unhappiness belongs to the mind, not to you, the awareness. So Janaka says that ajnanat upadhi kalpitam maya. Ajnanat upadhi kalpito maya. Now this is something to be understood. So as far as I'm concerned, when we begin to understand how an upadhi functions, I can save myself from that transference. That yes, this belongs to the body. Old age, disease, death. Yes, this belongs to the mind. Misery, unhappiness. Not to me, the awareness. Fine. But still the question remains, what is this body? What is this mind? Is it something real apart from awareness, existing outside separately, independently from awareness? Or is it something that is appearing in awareness only? The distinction is this. One sadhu put it nicely. ये नाटक है या सिनेमा है, ये बाद में तय करेंगे, पहले तो आप जिसके दृष्टा हैं ये जान लीजिए. So the difference between Sankhya and Advaita is, Sankhya says it is a natak, a dramatic performance. And Advaita says it's a movie, a cinema. What's the difference? So this is a stage. I'm sure a lot of dramatic performances have happened here. Theater, plays have taken place here. You are the witness. You are the audience. Whatever happens on the stage, you are the witness. You are not part of the play. You are not part of it. Whether it's a comedy or a tragedy or whatever it is, you are the witness. But if it is a play, a theatrical performance, then something is actually happening here. There is a stage. There are people here. There are props here, and then some activity going on. Actors are here. There's a green room there. So actually something separate, physically separate from you, you are seeing. There are real actors, real props, real theatrical performances going on. So that's a play. But what's a movie? It seems to be that there are people there, there is a hero, there is a place and maybe a city or things are happening, but it's actually just light, just pictures. So that's the difference between a cinema and a theatrical performance, a play. Natak or cinema mein fark hai. In Sankhya, you are pure consciousness, awareness only, and Prakriti, material nature is showing a natak before you, a play before you. There also, as pure awareness, you are separate from that, and you are safe from it. Body, mind is part of that natak. It's like real and separate from you, appearing to you. In Advaita Vedanta, what you are seeing is more like a movie. It's not, there are no real actors there, there's no real stage there. It's an appearance on the screen of consciousness. It's not separate from you. It's an kalpita. It's imaginary. This is the difference. So in Sankhya, it is what one might call a strict dualism. Consciousness or pure awareness, aware of a material reality, which is separate and independent from that awareness. In Advaita Vedanta, what Janaka is saying, Ajnanad kalpito upadhi kalpito maya. These limiting adjuncts, upadhis, they are like a movie appearing in awareness. They are not separate from me. And they are not even real in themselves. A good example I will give you is the dream example. In the dream example, what happens is, I fall asleep, the waking world disappears from me. In my dream, there's a dream world, and in that dream world, I have a body also. A body appears, and I am identified with that body, and I am interacting with other people in the dream. It appears like that. So that body in the dream is an upadhi. In the dream itself, I can feel that, oh, I am this man, this person, maybe I'm young or old, whatever it is, all the qualities of the body in the dream, they appear in me, the dreaming mind. But all the time, even that body is not a real independent entity apart from me. It's imagined in me. Even the qualities of that body are imagined in me. There is no second separate existence. This is Advaita Vedanta. In awareness, the upadhis appear in the mind, in the awareness itself. They are not separate entities which seem to be transferring their qualities onto awareness. It's a subtle concept, but it's a very powerful concept. Ajnana, because of ignorance, these upadhis seem to appear in me, and they seem to transfer their qualities upon me. When the knowledge arises, two things happen. When I am now aware, jo cheez jahan ka hai, usko wahin rehne do. The qualities which belong, wherever they belong to, keep them there. Old age belongs to the body. It's there. Disease belongs to the body. It's there, not in me, the awareness. Hunger and thirst belongs to prana, not in me, the awareness. Misery, unhappiness, depression belongs to mind, not in me, the awareness. This is a very interesting section in Upadesha Sahasri, in Shankaracharya, whose birthday it is today. So he is talking about these upadhis, these objects of awareness. And he says, I am not the body. just as I am not this object, this there's a ghata, like a pot, it's an object. It's something that appears to me in awareness, so I am not it. It's an object. The body is also something that appears to me in awareness, so therefore I am not even the body. It's an object. Now the shishya, the student, asks a question. The question he asks is, you cannot compare the body with this object, because this object is separate. Nothing happens to me if somebody hits this object or burns this object. But if somebody burns my body, puts a little bit of fire, it hurts. How can I say that this body is an object like that object? You see, the question is, if there is somebody, a little burn is there, the pinch is there, I feel it. Now Shankaracharya says there, so you feel pain when the body is burnt. There's a burn in the body. Yes, I feel pain. That pain is also an object. You are aware of it, therefore it's an object. It appears in you, the awareness. Just as the body appears in awareness, the pain also appears in awareness. It's an appearance, and therefore you are not it. Don't say that consciousness is in pain. Consciousness illumines pain. Janaka says, Evam vimrishatam nityam. In this way I reflect continuously. This is a practice. This continuous reflection, in Vedanta this is called vichara, an enquiry. When do you do this? Nityam, continuously. Every opportunity, every experience shows to us, one, that I am bodhamatra, awareness only. And it shows to me how this body-mind is upadhi. It appears in awareness and seems to transfer its qualities unto me. When I am aware of this, aware of myself as awareness, I will not allow this transference of qualities to happen. Jo cheez jahan ka hai, usko wahin rehne do. And therefore, what is the conclusion? Janaka says, Nirvikalpe sthitir mama. So I am established in my nirvikalpa nature. What is the nirvikalpa nature? See, everything in this world is savikalpa, with alternative, with change, subject to change, different states. The body has vikalpa, youth, middle age, old age, health, disease. These are the vikalpas of the body. The mind has vikalpa, happiness, misery, knowledge, ignorance, remembering, forgetting, all are vikalpa of the mind. Prana has vikalpa, hunger and thirst and illness and health. This is prana, vikalpa, change. But the awareness itself, no vikalpa. It is constant and ever shining. This constant and ever shining awareness, I am. Bodhamatra. Bodhamatra. A person might ask this question, why are you saying I am awareness only? Isn't it more logical to say, I am awareness, I don't deny that I am awareness, but also I am mind, I am body. Body, mind, awareness together. One sadhu put it nicely, Wah, gadha bhi aur ghoda bhi. Ek saath. No. Why I am awareness only and not mind body awareness? Because if I am something, see, for example, body or mind, it's subject to continuous change. If I am still there throughout the change, then I cannot be that ever-changing thing. I must be something quite apart from that change. If I am the mind, the mind is, for example, the mind is sometimes happy. Mind is nothing other than the vrittis. So a happy vritti comes in the mind. If I am the mind, then that happy vritti will never go away, it will always be there. But it goes away. I am still there. That means I am not literally that vritti of that mind. Childhood, middle age, old age, these belong to the body. If I am the body, then I'll either be an eternal child or an eternal middle-aged person or an eternally old-aged person. But middle age, childhood, old age, they come and go. I am still there. Therefore, I cannot be that changing body. I cannot be that changing mind. I am awareness only. Experiencing that changing mind, experiencing that changing body. This is called nirvikalpe sthitir mama, a very, very beautiful phrase. I am established in my nirvikalpa state, which is, nirvikalpa is not a state, it's the reality itself, that awareness itself. Nirvikalpe sthitir mama. This Janaka says, this is my realization. If I am that nirvikalpa awareness, bodha matra, is there any bondage or moksha for me? Janaka says, Name bandho nava moksha. He is just repeating, like Shankaracharya himself sings that, what is that? Na dharmo na chartho na kamo na moksha, chidananda rupa shivoham shivoham. He says, dharmartha kama, one may say that Shankaracharya does not want. But he says, I don't want moksha also. Even moksha is not mine. Why? Because I am that nirvikalpe sthitir mama. That awareness itself, does it require moksha? The pure awareness, does it require moksha, freedom? Freedom from what? It's already free. Does it have bondage? No bondage, because nothing sticks to it. The bondage of the body does not belong to awareness. The bondage of the mind does not belong to awareness. Okay. I think I've belabored the point more than enough. So this is what Janaka says. This is my state. This is my realization. Please read the second chapter of the Ashtavakra Geetha. Wonderful. This is very sublime. This is nididhyasana. You stay with Janaka and try to see from his perspective. The beautiful thing is what Janaka is saying, this is my realization, is a common state for all of us. All of us, we have that. We don't see it. And that's our problem. And Janaka sees it. Even by simply reading it, one gets an inkling of what this realization could be. And that's why it's a nididhyasana text. The knowledge is there, clarity is there, you stay with it. Good. I think we will go into the Q&A session now. And if one could give a microphone here. Yeah. And like yesterday, if you could line up, please come and stand here. They'll give a microphone to you. All right, not so many. Wait. Yeah, because we won't have the time. That's it. No more. The gentleman who's coming here, yes, please. That much only. No more. Please. Let me just finish talking to the people who have already queued up. We already have more than enough because we won't have time for so many questions. Please tell us your name and ask the question.
Pranam Swamiji, my name is Vijit Singh.
Yes.
And before I ask the question, I just want to say I hope my question doesn't sound like too clever, and if it sounds like that, I apologize for it in advance. Sorry. So my question, Swamiji, is the Vedanta exercises in Drigdashya and the seer is not the seen, or the Chit Jad, they feel like NLP or pseudoscience to me. I understand it as a fact, but still have doubt. Probably because unless it is not scientifically proven and recognized by scientific body, it doesn't feel right to me. There was this book, I'm going somewhere with this question. This question is short, I'm just adding examples to add clarity to my question.
Yeah.
So in the book, The Charisma Myth, there is an exercise look at your emotions from the third person. So instead of saying I am happy or sad, there is a feeling of happiness or sadness. This way you separate yourself from you. This is also similar to CBT, right? So in Vedanta, I'm not the body, mind, then automatically things become in third person. So this is, Swamiji, this is a question, I do understand them and I can feel it. For me, it is real.
Yes.
But just that modern scientific mind, since it's not scientifically accepted and all that, I'm not able to... Drigdashya Viveka changed me completely. I could feel myself in the Sankhya manner, different from a mind-body, but I was no, this is just a thing in my head.
Right. But then, what is the counter-argument against it? See, even you're saying it's not scientifically proven. I mean, we can look at it in different ways. Even what you just said, cognitive behavior therapy, CBT, that's also a scientifically accepted mode of therapy. Right. I mean, it's in fact more scientific than, say, Freudian psychoanalysis. It's sort of accepted psychiatric practice now, cognitive behavior therapy. Let me just ask a counter question. I am the witness of my thoughts. I am not my thoughts, I'm the witness of my thoughts.
Right.
From a scientific perspective, what's a thought? You see, from a scientific, let me explain what I'm trying to say. Science stops at neuroscience. When I say I have a thought, 2 plus 2 is 4. From a scientific perspective, what is that 2 plus 2 for? At the most, a neuroscientist might, with fMRI scans, might find some activity in my neurons which correspond to my thought of 2 plus 2 is equal to 4. But that subjective reporting of a thought which I have, 2 plus 2 is 4. Where does it figure in any of science? Science has no space for thought. Forget pure consciousness. Science stops at the activity of the brain. So, but do we doubt that we have thoughts? Nobody doubts. Even a scientist doesn't doubt that they have thoughts. Even Daniel Dennett won't doubt that he has got thoughts. So, that this subjective experience of thinking, or any kind of subjective experience, does not find a place in science. But that does not make it any less real. So, Drigdrishya Viveka, or any of these exercises, they're not unscientific. In fact, I would say, phenomenologically speaking, how it appears to you, from that perspective, they're just reality itself.
And just to add to this, like, no one can see the thoughts. So there was this documentary which I watched just 4 months back at Toronto International Film Festival. It was called Theatre of Thoughts. So what was happening in thought level? Till this date, for us, it was just electrical impulses.
Yes.
And all we could see was waves. I'm sorry, Swamiji, I don't have the exact picture. I don't have the recollection of it. But the could be read. So that's when because I had watched the Q&A of yours in the past, till like everything stops at that level where, the neuron level. And from there, how it switches to thought, that jump was not happening.
Yeah.
In that Theatre of Thoughts documentary, that jump, as I said, I'm not able to support it with clarity. That jump happened where they could see the thought and create it. So that's when it shook my entire Advaita foundations.
Yeah. From an Advaitic perspective or even a Sankhyan perspective, even thought is still material. Why? Because anything that's an object to consciousness in Vedanta is called jada, and Chit jada. Yeah. So it's an appearance in consciousness. Therefore, what I mean by that is, in principle, whatever is an object is jada. The brain is an object. So, and the thoughts in the mind are also objects. From an Advaitic perspective or Sankhyan perspective, that there should be a strict correspondence between thoughts and brain activity is not a big problem. In principle, it's fine. Because both are objective.
Correct.
Right?
Yes.
So, if you can read thoughts which correspond, there's a strict one-to-one mapping between brain activity and thought. From a Sankhyan perspective, it's not a big deal. It's fine, actually.
So, the thoughts can be read and created exactly without the person saying it.
Yeah.
It's still...
It's quite possible in principle, and why not? But you as consciousness, you are experiencing that.
And to the director in the movie, I actually went on to this questions, consciousness, and the director just stopped me in the auditorium. Please don't start anything with consciousness. I don't even want to go that route.
Yeah, they wouldn't want to go there.
Yeah.
It's very difficult to handle in that paradigm. Consciousness, from the paradigm which the director would be coming, it's very difficult to handle. There's something like consciousness there.
Swamiji, chota muh badi baat, but you should watch that documentary. It was specifically for people with consciousness. It was mapped in.
Everybody has consciousness, don't worry. Not specifically for people with consciousness. No, I'm joking.
From analysis.
Yes.
And just before I go, Swamiji, one last thing. I feel extreme pain, and I'm trying to tell myself, I'm not the pain, I'm the experiencer of the pain, but at one point I give up.
Yeah.
how do I stay with myself? Like,
how do you stay with yourself? You can even use that pain.
I can use it. And one point, because I have strict migraine, I give up, and then I just give up. And I said, I can't stay with myself, the true self, capital S. I'm experiencing high level of migraine pain, and at one point, I give up.
Right. But when I do experience that pain, notice, even that pain, that throbbing, a very difficult time which you have, the throbbing pain in the migraine, that's also revealing me as consciousness. In fact, in a very bright way, it is revealing me as consciousness. One person, he was on the dentist's chair, and with the dentist drilling. Now there is one approach this person took was, I'm trying to do japa, repeat a mantra, almost impossible because of the tremendous discomfort set up by the instruments of the. But I am awareness, very easy to do there, because awareness is revealing that very drilling, that great discomfort is sort of manifesting awareness in a great degree. You can say, I am this brightness which is being revealed by every burst of pain in the tooth.
I tried my best, Swami. It was just like...
No, don't try. Don't try.
I kept saying, no, not a dentist. I kept saying to myself, I'm that consciousness, this is just an object, the pain is just an object.
Yeah.
But I think I'm not yet there.
But the pain is revealing me as consciousness also.
I could get that.
And effortlessly so. Effortlessly so. In fact, the pain is taking all the effort, taking all the pains to show me that I am consciousness.
Yeah, I can go on. Thank you, Swami.
Thank you.
Swami.
Okay. Later. Please tell us your name and ask the question.
Namaste, Swamiji.
Namaste.
I'm just taking 2 points from 2 of your discourses, which I think the whole world listens to. But before that, I have a question. Yesterday you said not more than 1 question. So can I have a rapid fire question with you?
Well, okay. Do a couple of questions. Let's see how it goes.
Okay. So this is from your discourse, which is called Knowing is Being. In which you have said, Brahmaiva Bhavati. Now,
Brahmavit Brahmaiva Bhavati. The knower of Brahman is Brahman.
Is Brahman. Now, I want to link it to consciousness. That is where my question to you arises. If I am Brahman and I am consciousness, but in that you've said very clearly that unless divinity manifests within, you cannot get enlightened. Right?
Yes. What I meant there was that full enlightenment is not only knowing that I am Brahman, but it should be reflected in my actions. It should be reflected in life. What Swami Vivekananda called the manifestation of the divinity within us. And why shouldn't that manifestation happen? After all, if I know that I am Brahman, why shouldn't I be able to live as if I know that I am Brahman? If I do not do that, there's obviously some contradiction between what I know and understand and what I'm thinking and doing. So that contradiction has to be resolved. Yeah.
Okay. The second discourse is where you are in conversation with David Chalmers. And the it from bit from chit. So in that, David Chalmers says something which you agreed to, which is he tells you that if I am consciousness, I am aware of my consciousness, but there has to be another consciousness which makes me aware of my consciousness. So,
I don't think he said that.
Yes.
If I am aware of my consciousness,
he says,
you can't say I am aware of my consciousness, because I am consciousness, and whatever I am aware of is an object to consciousness, is an appearance in consciousness. Even if he said that, I wouldn't have agreed to it.
Okay, no, but he says there has to be something beyond that consciousness which makes me aware of my consciousness.
How would that work? Because if whatever is, nothing can make me aware of my consciousness. My consciousness is self-luminous. It's not even my consciousness. Consciousness is aware, and it's aware of objects. So that's how Vedanta sees it. Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Swamiji, my name is Santosh Kamath. I have one question for you and a request for you. It's very unfair that our US counterparts can see you and meet you every day, but we'll have to wait for a year for you to come back again. So please keep coming to Mumbai often. So that's a sincere request. And I have a question which is a very practical question. Swami Vivekananda said, good, good, bad, bad, no one escapes the law. Now, there's a very powerful law which if implemented or if it can be understood by everyone, the world will be a significantly good place to live in. Why doesn't universe or God demonstrates that clearly to all of us, that good, good and bad, bad? If that comes in, all of us, because of the fear of being punished or because of pap coming up, will all behave nicely and the world will be a better place to live in. So why doesn't God or nature shows us clearly that this works, good, good, bad, bad works?
It's actually a good question. What he's talking about is the law of karma. So as Swamiji said, good, good, bad, bad, and none escape the law. So the law of karma basically states that if I am consciously or deliberately dharmic, the result will be punya, and the punya is felt as sukha in our lives. If I am deliberately naughty, so the result will be dukkha, is papa, and the result of papa is dukkha. However, one thing I would like to say is that spirituality it means going beyond the law of karma. Law of karma is basically causality, cause and effect. And spirituality is always going beyond causality, is transcending causality. Karma yoga. What does it do? See, karma means I do something and I get the result. So good, good, bad, bad. Karma yoga says I do something and that's good, but I don't want anything good from it. I don't want the good that comes from good. So karma yoga takes me beyond causality. I will do all the good, I don't want the result from it. Bhakti yoga, love. So generally when we love, we want love in return. That's the worldly kind of love. But bhakti yoga, I love without any desire for a reciprocation. The ahetuki bhakti, or a devotion to God without setting any preconditions. Unconditional love. That takes you beyond causality. Jnana, it shows you that your real nature, pure consciousness is bodha matra, is beyond causality. Even yoga, Patanjali yoga, at the highest level, asampragyata samadhi, that cannot be attained by effort through cause and effect. At that level one must let go, and then only one can attain that samadhi. So all kinds of spirituality actually is transcending this law of karma. Having said that, you have a good point. There is a book by Arthur Herman, The Problem of Evil in Indian Thought. So he asks, if there is God, then why is there so much suffering in the world? The cause of unhappiness and misery, the problem of evil. This is something that every religion has to answer. And he gives a whole list of, I think, 23 or 24 theories, answers to this question. And he says the best answer that I have come across in the theologies of the world, he says, is this Indian idea of karma. So, yes, why doesn't God make us more aware of this? I think, our instinct thing is that we want to get the result of good karma, but we don't want to do good karma. And we want to do all the mischievous karma, but we don't want the result of that mischievous karma. We'll leave it at that. Thank you.
Pranam.
Namaste.
Pranam Swamiji. My name is Jyoti, and I would like to ask just two questions, one on theory and one on practical, and then just a small request. Okay?
So you have a full agenda.
Swamiji, in today's science-oriented world, it is difficult to believe in certain principles of Advaita Vedanta. So how do you reconcile this philosophy and science? And a related question, lots of studies have been done on NDE, hypnotic regression therapy, where claims have been made that there is eternal soul which survives death, there is presence of divine being or light, earth is just a play, and so on. So what is your take on this? And do you think these findings are consistent with the Advaita philosophy?
Okay, two good questions. The first one is that how you find certain principles of Advaita Vedanta which you feel that they are not consistent with science. Like what?
Like everything is Brahman. And if you say in Vyavharik reality, like I cannot say this looks like Brahman. You often give examples.
What does Brahman look like?
No, Swamiji, just...
I think the one theory, the one philosophy which might be sort of preeminently acceptable to science would be Advaita Vedanta. Just in a couple of days ago, I was just mentioning Dr. R. Chidambaram, Principal Scientific Advisor to the Prime Minister. He was in the program, in centenary program. The first sentence he uttered was, "I personally believe in Advaita Vedanta." So a skeptical, rational mind, when you inquire into Advaita Vedanta, is it entirely and quite easily acceptable? I wouldn't say that. Then every scientist would accept it. But is it logical? Is it rational? Yes. Does it contradict any scientific theory? No. It is not contradictory to science. That's the beauty of Advaita Vedanta. So it gives full play to scientific inquiry. So you can have all the science that you want, and Advaita is perfectly comfortable with it. The other philosophies or theologies are not comfortable with that, because they make some claims about this world which science can investigate and find it to be false, and then there's a clash. Advaita Vedanta does not have that problem. Right. I met this mathematician, Marcus du Sautoy. So this gentleman, he is a successor to Richard Dawkins. Richard Dawkins is the, he is the biologist who, so there's a British government has a post for the advancement of scientific understanding. And Richard Dawkins was in this post. And as you know, he was a militant atheist. He is a militant atheist. Yes. So this mathematician, Marcus du Sautoy, he told me that he is in the same post now, and his approach is a conciliatory approach to religion, not attacking religion, not as a militant atheist, but trying to explain the scientific approach to people who believe in spirituality, and trying to understand from people who believe in spirituality, trying to understand something from them. I met him in a class where I was teaching Aparoksha Anubhuti, and he sat through all the classes, and he had some very good questions to ask after that. One thing which I think he liked was that apparently there's no direct conflict between the Advaitic approach and scientific inquiry. The second question
about ND, hypnotic regression therapy and all this.
In Advaita Vedanta does not have any problem with that. The one thing to understand about Advaita Vedanta is that Advaita is not interested in the contents of experience. Advaita is not interested in what I am experiencing. Advaita is interested in that which is experiencing everything. So if I have NDE is near-death experience. So that's a kind of experience. Notice, even that kind of experience requires consciousness. Unless you are a conscious being, you can't have a near-death experience, pre-death experience, post-death experience, death experience. All of that, those are contents of experience. Those are something that awareness experiences or makes it possible. Hypnotic regression, these are all contents of awareness or contents of experience. Advaita is interested in awareness itself, not what it experiences.
But when we say, like when all...
Let me just say one more thing, let me add.
Okay.
The French philosopher and mathematician Descartes, he said something quite poignant in his meditations. He says, so his inquiry was, I'll doubt whatever can be doubted. And then he comes to what cannot be doubted. So I can doubt everything in this world, including this body even, but what I cannot doubt is the fact that I'm doubting. So his cogito ergo sum, that I think, therefore I exist. So this is very well known. But in his meditations in this book, he says, it is strange that which I am not sure of, this world, I know so much about it. And that I'm absolutely sure of, my own existence, I don't know anything about it. So, Advaita Vedanta is interested in that, my real nature, the experiencer, the consciousness, not the contents of consciousness.
Okay. Okay, one practical, I've been meditating since couple of years, and I can go quite deep. I can reach the stage where I lose the body consciousness, or there are no thoughts. The awareness, I just feel the awareness, or just a feeling of I am, or just a being. So that is reflected consciousness, right? So from that, the whole thing stops.
Yeah.
From that, how to reach the pure consciousness? Can you give some practical methods or something like that?
Yes, so there is a verse in the Drigdrishya Viveka which tells you the exact relationship between that reflected awareness, Chidabhasa, and the Sakshi Chaitanya. So it's like this. In a mirror, when I see my face reflected in the mirror, how do you go from that reflected face to the real face? Follow this carefully. The face in the mirror you're aware of. It has the distinct advantage of being seen. You can see it. The real face, you can't see it. How do you go from that seen face to that seen reflected face to that unseen real face? That turning, nobody can teach you that turning. It's exactly like the 10th man story. The 10th man, he was counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. From that 9 to I am the 10th, that turn, nobody can teach us that. You stay with that, you will get an instinctive grasp of who you really are. That completely non-objective, pure subjective, that witness consciousness, which we are, which is reflected in the mind as Chidabhasa, as a reflected consciousness.
Yes.
Just stay with that.
And just last little bit.
Yes.
From all the people all the people who are residing in India, I would like to say something. You know, India's population is 1.4 billion. America's population is 33 million.
No, it's not 33 million.
34, whatever.
But I think, 300 million or something. Yeah.
According to Happiness Index, India is ranked at 126 and America is ranked at 15. So in short, there is more suffering in India, and we see you as modern Swami Vivekananda. So don't you think that you are needed more in India than America?
But my reply to that would be, you have sent me to America.
India. Haven't, sir. I've been trying to get in touch with you since 4 years.
So I am there in the Vedanta Society of New York. It was founded by Swami Vivekananda himself. And so this is part of our outreach from the Ramakrishna Mission to the rest of the world, to the United States and other countries. And thanks to this new technology now, like the YouTube and everything. So we are in touch all over the world. Thank you so much. Thank you for that.
May I just have your blessing, please?
Please come.
Pranam Swamiji, my name is Anirban. Swamiji, my question is on Nirvikalpa Samadhi.
And a difficult one. Huh?
So how is it different from Sushupti and a person who is brain dead? Isn't it that the mind and Chitta is not working in all the three states and consciousness is also there in all the three states? So how is it different? If you could explain.
Yeah. Nirvikalpa Samadhi and Sushupti are different. In Sushupti, the mind is absorbed back into its primal ignorance. And in Nirvikalpa Samadhi, the mind is awake. It has not fallen asleep. It is just like an unflickering flame. And Bhagavad Gita calls it this, like a flame in a windless place. So the mind is awake, but it's not thinking. It's completely and deeply absorbed in one object, and so that is Samadhi, Nirvikalpa Samadhi. Consciousness is constant all throughout. Whether it is in Sushupti or Nirvikalpa Samadhi or when brain dead, coma state, it is one and constant.
So mind is there in Nirvikalpa Samadhi?
Mind, yes, it's there. Mind has not been absorbed back into its seed state, which is there, what happens in deep sleep.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Pranam.
Tell us your name and ask the question.
Yeah. Pranam Swami, my name is Nikhil Samant.
Ji.
And my question is, whatever little knowledge I have in reading Swami Vivekananda and the illustrious Ananda Kumar Swami, so this question is based on that. So could we say that consciousness, so to speak, quote unquote, manifest itself so that it can know itself? Because whatever little I have read on the world religious traditions, so I came across the early church fathers sayings that God became man so that man might become God. It's a very cryptic and profound saying. Also, there is a very cryptic Hadith al-Qudsi, I mean the holy utterance where the first person is the speaker, Allah, not the prophet, that I was a hidden treasure and I desired to be known. So I created this universe, the man. So your take on this, I mean, my original question, whether Sachidananda manifests itself or project itself so that it can know itself? I mean,
yes.
Yeah. Sure.
The answer to that, short answer to that would be yes, straight away. Yes. But it manifests itself so that it can know itself. We are already imputing some desire to it and some kind of limitation to it. One can just say, in the language of Gaurapada, for example, Devasya Esha Swabhava. This is the very nature of that shining reality. So, to manifest itself is the nature of pure consciousness, Satchidananda. And to not manifest itself is also the nature of Satchidananda. Yes. So suppose there's this question, interesting question is asked, why is there anything at all? This entire universe, why is there anything at all? Well, why does Brahman appear as anything at all? That question may be asked. The answer to that is, what are the logical choices before Brahman? Either to appear as something or to be nothing. Yes. And Brahman is doing both. In deep sleep, nothing, blank. In dreaming and waking, experience of this universe. In Srishti and Pralaya, in Srishti and Sthiti, this universe is manifested. In Pralaya, cosmic dissolution, universe is not manifested. Now what more can poor Brahman do? The only two logical choices. It can either manifest itself or not manifest itself. And both it is doing. If Brahman did not manifest itself, I mean, of course, the contingency does not arise, but suppose it did not manifest itself, we would complain, what a lazy, useless Brahman. Why isn't there anything? If it manifests itself, then we have this complaint. Why is it manifesting itself? So much problem, we have to go back to realize Brahman. So both of it, the two logical alternatives are fulfilled by Brahman. Yeah. Thank you.
Pranam Swamiji. My name is Tejpal Singh, and I actually came all prepared with the question, but regarding reflected consciousness and going from there to pure consciousness. But to my dismay, the ma'am already asked it. Very good. So the only thing that I want to ask is it staying with your sadhana or the meditation or the bhakti, does that lead to that particular breakthrough? Or is it all the grace of God? How does that happen? Just wanted to know.
Staying with sadhana is absolutely, it's mandatory.
Yeah.
Because after all, what will you do otherwise?
Yeah.
There was one monk who wrote to Ma Sharada saying that I am doing so much japa. Why has God not revealed himself to me yet? And she was annoyed. She said right back to him that God will reveal himself in his own good time. And he is a sadhu. What else will he do other than doing japa? So what else will we do other than spiritual practice? Yeah. It's our real nature. It will manifest in due time. It will happen to everybody. That breakthrough will come to all of us.
Okay.
Thank you.
Just one thing. It's an absolute honor to stand in front of you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. You're very kind.
Pranama, Swamiji.
Namaste. Namaste.
My name is Niranjan Shah,
Ji.
an ex-student from Rajkot Ramakrishna Mission. Swamiji, my question is, in our Pushti Marga, given to us by Sri Sri Vallabhacharya and Lord Krishna, what we learnt is Akshara Brahma is Sat Chit Ananda.
Yes.
Now when Akshara Brahma is Sat Chit Ananda, can we say that Akshara Brahma is Brahman in Advaita?
All right, so that's actually an intricate theological question.
Yeah.
As far as I know, this is what you're talking about, the Pushti Marga, Vallabhacharya's Shuddhadvaitavada.
Yes, yes.
In all these Vaishnava Vedanta theologies, Sat, Chit, Ananda are qualities of Brahman.
Yes.
So they are characteristics or qualities of Brahman. But in Advaita Vedanta, Sat, Chit, Ananda are not qualities of Brahman. Vivekananda put it very nicely. He said, not that it exists, it is existence itself. Not that Brahman knows, it's knowledge itself. Not that Brahman is happy, it is bliss itself. So Sat, Chit, Ananda are the very nature of Brahman. I will say just this much. There are other differences also. For example, in Pushti Marga, it is Bhagavan Krishna who is the supreme. And Sat, Chit, Ananda would be the qualities of Krishna. Would be characteristics of Krishna. So the personality of God, Saguna aspect of God, is supreme in Shuddhadvaita or in the Pushti Marga. This distinction is there, but I'll leave it at that.
Okay. So
There's a very beautiful book, Swami Tapasyanji's book, Bhakti Schools of Vedanta. Okay. So there is a biography of Vallabhacharya, and then Shuddhadvaita, there's a whole chapter on Shuddhadvaita. I'll refer you to that.
yeah, so Akshara Brahma cannot be taken as Brahman in Advaita.
As far as I'll be careful not make a full commitment to it, but as far as I understand the general structure of Vaishnava Vedanta theologies, you cannot equate Nirguna Brahman of Advaita Vedanta with the Akshara.
Yeah, because this is something something to translate from Dvaita to Advaita.
Yes, that's true.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Pranam Swamiji. I'm Preeta Sanjit. Yesterday I had come here with my 12-year-old son, and this is his question, not mine. So please forgive me if it's too simple.
The simple ones are difficult ones. Yeah.
So he heard the lecture very carefully, and he wanted to ask this question, but there was a long line yesterday. So his question to me was that we don't, realize we are Brahman because we have avidya. We don't have knowledge. Why do we have avidya to start with?
All right. Well, that's a big question. It's a difficult question. Why is there ignorance to start with? Now, I'll give you an answer which I like. And, Swami Vivekananda said, this question itself is wrong. Now, that puzzled me. Why is this question wrong? In Advaita Vedanta, we'll say that ultimately it is because of ignorance that we do not know Brahman, that we are Brahman. So, why is there ignorance at all? If you say that this question is wrong, we can still ask a question, why is the question wrong? And the answer is this. You cannot ask a question why about avidya, about ignorance. Why can't you ask this question? Because ignorance or maya has these components, time, space, causation. Causation is why. Causation means cause and effect. So when you ask why, what are you asking? You're asking for a cause. Why is it wet? It rained. Because it rained. Why did it rain? Because there were clouds. Because. Now if you're asking why avidya, you're asking for a cause of avidya. You might say, what's wrong with that? You can ask for a cause of avidya. No, you cannot. It's like asking what was there before time started. If you ask what was there before time started, this before is a time word. When the moment you say before, after, you've already accepted time. It's like asking what is there outside space. Outside is a space word. Inside, outside, the moment you use words like inside and outside, you already accepted space. If you ask why, you've already accepted causation, cause and effect. So, the moment you ask why avidya, logically you have accepted avidya. Okay. So this is something that this is the way I understand why you cannot ask this question. The simpler answer would be, one of our Swamis, he put it very beautifully. He said, on this side of enlightenment, we have the question, no answer. On that side of enlightenment, they have the answer, no question. They have no question at all. I'll leave it at that.
I also had one small question to you. Anything for kids or, something which they can understand or easy to understand, which they can read and understand for themselves?
There's so many books. There's Vivekananda for kids. There is I think I saw a Broadway play called The Lion King. I think there's a cinema also called The Lion King. Yes. So these are some movies, stories based on Vedantic themes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Please tell us your name and ask the question.
Pranam Swamiji. My name is Rohit. I want to know awareness, which we are. So this awareness and the awareness in others is the same?
Okay, this is a good question. I am awareness. And this awareness, is it the same as awareness in others? I'll say two things here. First of all, direct answer to your question. Yes. Sri Krishna says in the Bhagavad Geetha, 13th chapter, Kshetragyam chapi mam vidhi sarva kshetreshu bharata. Know me, O Arjuna. Know me to be the awareness in all bodies, in all body minds. Field is body mind. So I am the knower of the field in all fields. I am the awareness in all body mind. The second thing I want to say is that, notice, when you say the awareness in others, it seems to be different from me, right? Other person is different from me. So the awareness in the other person is different from me. But we are never aware of the awareness of others. I am aware of the body, I can see. I am aware of your behavior, I can see. I am aware of your language, I can hear. If I am telepathic, I'll be aware of your thoughts. I'm not telepathic, by the way. But if I was telepathic, I would be aware of your thoughts. But I can never be aware of your awareness. Awareness is never an object. So awareness, consciousness is always first person and singular. And that's what Krishna says, I am that one awareness in all beings. Yeah, that's very interesting.
So this is what we call oneness?
This is what we call oneness. This is the first step to oneness. I am pure awareness. This one pure awareness is the same in all beings. Bodies are different, minds are different, and this one pure awareness in all beings. This is the first step to oneness. The second step will be, but then what about bodies and minds and the world? They are all different entities? No, then they are all reduced back to this awareness. The mind, body, and the entire external universe, they are appearances in this awareness. The appearances in awareness are not different from awareness. In that sense, non-duality. That non-duality is the real oneness. Because otherwise, if you say awareness is one, but then other than awareness, so many things are there. Entire, Prakriti is there, apart from awareness. Still not oneness. When Prakriti is reduced back to awareness, to consciousness, then only oneness results. Yeah.
So everything which appears is within me, and it said that in me I am in every.
Right.
Yeah.
So everything that appears, three stages. Take it in 3 stages. Everything that appears to you, the awareness. Step 1. Appears in you, the awareness. Step 2. Appears in you, the awareness, as nothing but you, the awareness. You are appearing to yourself. This entire universe is you, the appearance, appearing to yourself. Yeah. That's Advaita's position.
So this is what we called Anvaya. So one practice is neti, I am nothing, and the other practice is Anvaya, where we say I am
in everything. I am in everything. But Anvaya Vyatireka is one way, that I am in and through everything. But everything else, everything that appears, in which I am, that one is also not different from me. See, there is Anvaya, there is a string of pearls, and one string runs through all of them. The necklace in that pearl necklace, the string is Anvita. It is Anvaya, it is going through all the pearls. But the string is not the pearls. But in Advaita Vedanta, we'll say it's not that only consciousness is Anvaya, Anvita in all of us, but everything appears in consciousness. Yeah. And is nothing but consciousness appearing to itself. So that's a big step ahead. Thank you. Thank you. These are very deep, deep questions. Thank you.
Pranam Swamiji. My name is Satish Dutt, and I have been listening to your YouTube talks since 4 years, and got some amount of understanding and clarity about who am I. And because of you, I am standing here and got all my questions answered till now. Now I am at the stage of Nididhyasana, where I am practicing this knowledge in my day-to-day life, and where I am alone and in a favorable situation, I can effortlessly can be stay as awareness, as consciousness, as witness only. But whenever the unfavorable situation comes, or a negative person or a interaction situation comes, then immediately I found myself in the mode of the person as jiva, and then it takes little time to shift back my attention to the witness consciousness, and then I realize I don't need to interact or react to that person. Right. So how to stay in the difficult situation as awareness itself?
You are choicelessly awareness in the difficult situation also.
Okay.
Yes. This thing that I was serenely awareness, unmoved, peaceful, then something upsetting happened. A person or a difficult situation came along, and I reacted as a jiva, as this person. And then afterwards I shifted back to my awareness nature again. All of these are appearing to you, that one unmoved awareness.
Yes.
See, who is saying that I was peaceful, I became disturbed, now I am peaceful again? Is it awareness saying that, or the mind? It's the mind, not awareness. It's the mind.
So I'm still in the mind, basically.
Yes, but you are actually awareness, not in the mind. It's the mind which raises these questions. It's the mind which has these problems. And the mind says, I was peaceful, then I got disturbed. How do I remain peaceful? You tell the mind, don't bother, I don't care about you. I am always peaceful. Yes. Yeah. It's basically the mind which throws up these problems.
Okay. So basically when I'm sitting alone or I'm quiet, I'm still not reached to that level of awareness?
No.
Or
you are at that level. It's not even a question of level. You are choicelessly that. You don't have to make an effort for it.
Okay.
But however, let's be practical. If this problem is there and the mind keeps on putting this issue forward, then Advaita Vedanta recommends a course of Nididhyasana. It is just to convince the mind that you are choicelessly awareness.
Okay.
And you don't have to make an effort to be awareness. It will convince the mind. Otherwise the mind will keep putting forward this complaint that I am peaceful, I am awareness, then I am disturbed again I am peaceful. Mind, that's mind. So Nididhyasana, as you said, and many texts are there. Aparoksha Anubhuti has 15 practices of Nididhyasana. Drigdrishya Vivek has 6 practices of Nididhyasana. They will help.
But initially, do we not have to put some effort to be effortless?
Nididhyasana, exactly, certainly. Nididhyasana requires effort. Look at what Janaka just said. Evam vimrishatam nityam. In this way, reflecting continuously. So I am awareness, but I am reflecting continuously on this experience that I am awareness.
Correct.
Otherwise, the mind will keep on putting forward problems.
So basically this continuously reflecting on the self is Nididhyasana.
Is Nididhyasana. Trying to stay with it.
Stay with it. So trying to stay with it takes little effort.
It does.
It does. So it's always keep reminding you, no, you don't have to interact, you don't have to indulge, you don't have to stay as awareness. So this is the Nididhyasana basically.
This is Nididhyasana, yes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. All right, we just have 2-3 questions quickly, yes.
Pranam Swamiji.
Namaste.
Okay. I came across a quote from Raman Maharishi, which says the mind is a bundle of thoughts. The thoughts arise because there is the thinker. The thinker is the ego. The ego, if sought, will automatically vanish. So I basically seek an answer or an understanding of how to seek the ego, because at the moment I can label some of my thoughts, feelings, emotions, that where is it coming from. Some I know that this reaction of mine to what somebody has said is coming from the ego. Something is coming out of my attachment. Something is coming out of fear. But what is the way to seek the ego and then work on it and make it vanish?
Don't try to seek the ego. Ego is there anyway, because the moment you say that I am seeking the ego, that's the ego. I am thinking, that's the ego. So there's a Vedantic definition of the ego. Abhiman atmika antakkarana vritti ahankara. So ego is that appropriating function of the mind. That one which says, I think, I see, I hear, I speak, I remember, I desire, I like, I dislike. That one which integrates all the mental activities. That is the ego. That ahankara. Shankaracharya sings, ahankara na aham. Where does he sing that? Remember? Mano buddhi ahankara chittani na aham. I am not the mind, I am not the intellect, I am not the memory, I am not the ego. So literally if you translate, I am not I. How is that possible? See, even this ego, you are the witness of this ego. This ego appears to you, the consciousness. The pure subject, to that pure subject this ego appears. That is the vanishing of the ego. When you don't identify with the ego anymore. And that is the vanishing of the ego.
Thank you so much. Swamiji, one more thing is that I cannot grasp the concept of beginningless. Endless, I can still understand. It will continue always. But I cannot grasp the concept of beginningless. Can you please give me some guidance?
So beginningless and endless. So it will continue all the time. Even that is not really endless. Beginningless and endless, they presuppose, time. Something was there since beginningless time. Endless means something will continue till forever without any end in time. But really beginningless and endless, it means that it's not in time. It's time itself appears to you, the consciousness. Are you talking about beginningless consciousness? So time itself appears to you, the consciousness. So this concept of beginningless, endless, it's a time concept. See, when we talk about Atman, Brahman, it is beginningless, endless, already you have accepted time. Then you're speaking in terms of time. Consciousness, Atman, Brahman is all pervading. You've already accepted space. Then you're saying it is all pervading. Everything is Brahman, Sarvam Kalvidam Brahman. You've already accepted everything. Then you are saying everything is Brahman. So this Desha Kala Vastu, accepting that, we are saying Sarva Vyapi, Nitya, Sarvam Kalvidam Brahma. But actually in itself, consciousness is beyond space, beyond time, beyond object. I'll leave it at that.
So one last one. Yesterday you had explained all of this. And if I basically want to understand the difference between yogic self-realization, which you say is a mystical experience, then why is Vedantic self-realization, which exactly is what you were saying just now, it's beyond space, beyond time, beyond object, and all of that. So why is that not a mystical experience?
First of all, if you really push the issue, Patanjali Yoga and Advaita Vedanta, they are not really all that different. Philosophically speaking, there are many metaphysical differences. There are many methodological differences. But ultimately they are pointing towards something very similar, that you are pure consciousness. The universe, the status of the universe is a little different in Patanjali Yoga and in Advaita Vedanta. But your question was that why is that Advaitic realization not a mystical experience? It's not a particular experience. Rather, it's that consciousness which makes all experiences possible, mystical and non-mystical. Now this breakthrough, that I am this awareness because of which all experiences are possible, this breakthrough can sometimes feel like a mystical experience. So it can be, somebody can say that I had a non-dual experience or I realized non-duality in a mystical experience. It can feel like, to some sadhakas, it can feel like a mystical experience. But it's not just one experience. Every experience reveals it. Kena Upanishad says, Pratibodha viditam matam amritatvam hivindate. In every experience, when you realize you are that non-dual consciousness, then you attain immortality. So it's not a particular kind of experience. Yeah, thank you. So last two questions, yes. Yes.
Pranam Swamiji. My name is Akanksha and my question is, what is the difference between consciousness and prana?
Oh, big difference. Prana is an object.
Okay.
And consciousness is that to which prana is an object. Body is an object to consciousness. Prana is an object to consciousness. Mind, manas, is an object to consciousness. Intellect, vijnana, is an object to consciousness. Even deep sleep state, the causal state, karana sharira, is an object to consciousness. But consciousness is that which illumines all of this. You know, when we were in school, we were taught the difference between living and non-living. Give 10 points of difference between living and non-living. In Vedanta, the difference is not between living and non-living. The difference is between chit, jada. Chit, jada. Consciousness and not conscious. Consciousness and object to consciousness. Yeah, that's the difference.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Last question? Yes. Please wait.
Koti Koti Pranam, Swamiji. So I've finished your sessions on Drigdrishya Viveka and Aparokshanubhiti. And my self-inquiry has led me to this stage, so it's kind of practical. Just to give you some reference, so 4 months ago, I went under general anesthesia for the first time, and it lasted longer than it should have, etc. Now the question that the Sakshi, or the pure consciousness, can never be perceived. And that, coupled with what Ramana Maharshi has said, when the world appears, the self does not. And when the world does not appear, then only self is. So it's that, when I was under general anesthesia, it's that or it is experience. And the mind is having fear with that general anesthesia. So if it's not this life, etc., then there is that. And that is where I am.
I understand. So, yeah. Recently, I was listening to this discussion between Sam Harris and Rupert Spira. And Sam Harris said that well, all this continuous consciousness, it doesn't work because in anesthesia, for example, you're not aware of anything. A lot of things are going on in the operation theater. You're not aware of anything. So it's not that consciousness is continuous. You're conscious then at that time. And Rupert Spira said, I was under general anesthesia recently, and I don't think that I was unconscious. I think consciousness was there all the time. I don't think there was no consciousness. What you are talking about, either it is this thinking, life, experience, pleasure, pain, or the state of general anesthesia. Both of them are states. And both states are revealed by you, the consciousness. One is an unmanifest state, the general anesthesia, deep sleep, samadhi. Another is a manifested state, this. But in both cases, you are that immortal awareness, that bodhamatra, awareness only. So it is not really that when this is there, pure consciousness is not there, and when this is not there, then only pure consciousness is there. Not like that. Only in one case, what Ramana Maharshi says, it is true, it can be explained in this way. When this is there, pure consciousness itself seems to be covered over. because of the presence of multiple upadhis. You see the transparent crystal, if you put a red flower near it, it looks red, it does not look transparent anymore. But suppose you remove the red flower, it looks transparent again. So in that sense you might say pure consciousness is there when the world, the upadhis do not appear. But Advaita position is whether the upadhis are appearing or they are not appearing, whether this world of life, thought, pain, suffering is there or it's not manifest. In all cases you are that bodha matra, awareness only. You need not be afraid. Whether your face is being reflected in the mirror, if you take the mirror away, your face as such, oh, that's a good example to show what Ramana Maharshi meant. I am there, the mirror is there, my face is being reflected in the mirror. When the mirror is removed, reflected face is removed, only the real face remains. That's what Ramana Maharshi probably meant. That when the mirror is removed, reflected face is removed, but the real face continues in that unmanifest state. But then, when the mirror is there and the reflected face is there, the real face is still there. In all cases. In fact, there's an advantage to this experience, that where you have life and thought and experience and pain and pleasure, your reality is being manifest so visibly here, undeniably here.
Yes, so experience takes me back there, that I'm comfortable with.
Yes.
So the conviction that what you said today is, it's not the absence of experience, but the experience of absence.
Experience of absence.
Right.
Yeah.
That conviction, this mind does not have.
Don't worry about it. It's just a doubt which the mind gets scared, you see. The mind gets scared.
Yes.
You are the witness of the scared mind also. So there's no problem there at all. There's no problem. It's a problem set up by the mind. It's a very natural reaction of the mind. The poor mind, it's like being snuffed out, extinguished. Nirvana, the definition of nirvana, what is snuffed out or extinguished in nirvana? It's the mind, not the witness consciousness. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Pranam Swamiji.
Yes.
My name is Ashok Hinduja.
Yes.
My question is, we are aware and we are conscious. We are not mind and body. So who is conscious? What is aware? Our soul or our self or Atman, Brahman, that is aware, that is conscious. Who is conscious? We are not mind and body, then who is conscious? Who is aware? Our soul, self, God, Brahman, Atma.
You are aware. You are consciousness itself.
That pure consciousness is soul or self, we can call it.
Yes, certainly.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. So we'll conclude here and we'll meet again tomorrow. Thank you so much.
Request all the devotees to take the rear exit, so that will lead to you directly in the foyer. Please have tea and snacks before you leave for home. Thank you.